If you're watching first on Friday or Saturday, then it's not too late to head out to the Wilmington Film Festival. Barry Schlecker is our first person this week, and the force behind the festival, more affectionately known as the WilmFilm Festival.
Right.
Barry, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You know, the festival is a really big undertaking, but you've been doing it for a long time, so what goes into making something like this come into fruition?
Well, again, you have to have a philosophy, and my philosophy and our goal was to bring independent documentary films to one weekend, then see them all in one weekend. Living in Delaware, I was always frustrated wanting to see good independent documentary films. We're not a big state. They're not booked here, so our choices are go to the Philly, Ritz's and art theaters, and then you have 95 in parking. Hope that they show it at Theater N, but if you're not home that weekend, you miss it. Or wait for Redbox or Demand or whatever, and those films, those independent documentary films, sometimes don't make it for 6 months to a year. So my goal was to bring 20 to 25 films you should have seen, and I want to see, so I'm being selfish, under one weekend, under one roof, and we got lucky when Penn Cinema opened at the Riverfront, so now I have a great venue.
And people can binge watch.
And that's what they do. We have some people who buy a festival pass for $75 and stay there all weekend, and literally can see 20 films.
Okay, well, we have a clip of one of the movies, and it's a short.
Yes, as sort of a tribute to Delaware filmmakers, we have a group of short films we call Delaware Shorts, in which one of the local filmmakers has curated 5 or 6 films, all made by local or regional filmmakers under the title Delaware Shorts. So Rob Waters from Rehoboth has brought together 5 films, and this is one of them.
Okay, let's take a look.
You want to tell me what it is you're doing here?
I was hoping
Liam.
I was hoping you'd teach me.
Teach you? Teach you to do what? I haven't been a boxer for years, kid.
No, I know how to fight. I'm a good fighter.
Oh, yeah? Says who?
Says everybody.
Oh.
Says my record. I fight MMA, not a boxer. It's mixed martial arts. Anyway, one day a couple months ago, I took a decision over a guy, and after the fight, I said to Mitchie, when am I going to fight for some real money, some belt or something, And he said, when a fight like this doesn't go to a decision.
That sounds like Mitchie.
And then he says to me, you're a good fighter, kid, but you're no killer. And we need you to be a killer.
You know what, I like the way that was shot. It looked really beautiful. And I think it's great that you're giving the exposure to local folks.
We have 24 films, and 7 have a local connection. One we're premiering on Thursday night. It's not on the program because it's made by a professor at the University of Delaware called The Streets of Harlem, and last year he made a film called People's Report about the streets of Wilmington. So that's going to be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So yes, we're interspersing local filmmakers as well as, I said, 17 national films with national distribution.
Now, if someone's watching this on Monday or on WHYY or ITN, they'll have missed the festival. But let's talk about the future of the festival. Pretty secure?
Well, the nice thing is I'm learning a lot about technology because film festivals are a victim of the new technology. Some of the older theaters do not have the technology. The nice thing about Penn Cinema at the Riverfront, it's brand new with state-of-the-art. I'm learning things like DCP, digital cinematic production, projection. So all these films cannot be on the DVDs or the big 35 millimeter. They come on a hard drive. So yes, I really think this is going to be a boom to us.
You brought back the Brandywine Festival of the Arts. You've got the Rockwood Ice Cream Festival.
Yes.
As I said, you are the go-to festival guy. Let's talk about the Brandywine Festival of the Arts first. You brought that back a couple of years ago. How are things doing?
It's great. I learned something that you can't pay for history, and the Brandywine Festival has been around since 1960s. So it's a great festival. It started out great. It ran into some rough times about 5-6 years ago. The state of Delaware and I talked about bringing it back. It was great. I just sort of surveyed all the artists and said what went right and what went wrong, and sort of fixed it. It's like finding a restaurant with a great location, bad food.
Right.
Just changed the menu, brought in good food, brought in great art, brought in music, tent for children, and we sort of worked it, and it's great. It's
And
a
that
tradition.
formula also helped you resurrect the ice cream festival.
Well, I got cocky after reviving the Bennywide Festival. Somebody mentioned the Rockwood Ice Cream Festival, which again had been around 30, 40 years. So again, the state of Delaware helps me with Brandywine. Newcastle County was very helpful in helping me bring back Rockwood Ice Cream Festival at Rockwood. And doing very well. It's going to be our 3rd year this year.
We're going to kind of shift gears, and
Sure.
at the top of the broadcast this week, we talked about how the Delaware Art Museum is going to sell works, has announced it will sell works to make up for some
Yes.
budget problems. Does that sort of issue hurt Delaware from a cultural standpoint, in your opinion?
I'm a businessman first, and I'm a practical person. So I was saying to somebody, the whole idea is to stay open. If your business is in trouble and you have assets, I think that's okay. I think I don't understand what they're saying about prestige among other art museums, but from a practical standpoint, as long as we can survive, I think survival is important. I think the art museum is a great venue. I want to keep it here, and if it means selling a painting or two, I'm all for it. But again, that's my opinion as a business person. I think nonprofits are beginning to act like businesses, and that's good.
Well, and they do, even though they're nonprofit, they do
They
have
have
to be a business.
to. I mean, Big Brother's dead. I mean,
Yeah.
the days of having corporations write checks to cover your tail is over.
Well, Barry Schlecker, thank you so much for being here this week and being our first person. His Barry Events Group organized the WilmFilm Festival. Again, if you want to learn more or see a recap, go to wilmfilm.com.